Hello, everybody. Hello, nobody. I am going to be talking with Kamaloscope, a musician from where? I don't know. They're from the East Coast. We're going to talk about stuff. We're going to talk about their song, Smile. Their song, Smile, is about being in love and being able to take it easy and relax in life because of being in love and having somebody there for you. And it's a good song. Um, so we're just, waiting here. Um, you're gonna go live with me. Just gotta give it a second. Gotta give her a minute here. um, yep, gonna be talking with a friend. A friend. A friendy friend. A friend. I am waiting for this moment to occur. Everyone is waiting. The whole world is waiting. And the homies got some music. I was listening to some earlier. Here it is. So we got the song playing in the background now. Would you look at that? This is the song that we're going to be talking about. But I can't seem to get up now. All these thoughts just keep holding me down. I try. Just waiting for the homie to be alive as well. That I am worthy. I can give what the world won't see. We're gonna be talking about this song. We're gonna be talking about the creative process behind making it, what they were feeling. I'm sure they'll mention this vocalist they work with. Very great vocalist. That's something that I'm curious about myself. So, 2 more minutes, and we will be going live with the homie. I'm just waiting for their little thingamabob to pop up and say that I can invite them. Which they said they'd be going live at 5, so give it a couple of minutes. I just listened to the song. We're gonna be talking about this song in 2 minutes. Two more. 1 minute. 1 more minute. We're gonna be talking about this song with the homie. This exact song right here. We're gonna be talking about it. I am going to invite another host, and this host is gonna be yes. Friend, how are you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Thanks for coming on the show with me.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
I really have been digging the song Smile. I've given it quite a few listens just to let it soak in so I can talk about it.
Yeah.
It's from your EP, which was Bittersweet, and it came out 2021, right?
Yeah. It was a 4-part EP, and it's just a different vibe for each part, and arguably Smile was my favorite song on it, so I guess I kind of spent the most time on it.
It's definitely a bop. It definitely stands out. All the songs are great, but I can see why it would be your favorite.
Yeah, every like while I was making it, everything just kind of flowed together, like right where it was supposed to, and like it was kind of seamless in like
So
production wise.
where are you? So we'll get back to the song, but just I guess like where are you from? And where are you currently located? And what when did you start making music?
Yeah, so originally I'm from Bangladesh, specifically like near a town called Chittagong, and I'm from like the southernmost tip of Bangladesh. It's a beautiful area. I love that place. And then I moved to America when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and now I live in Richmond, Virginia, and I love this place. It's definitely my vibe. A lot of musicians, a lot of artists, just a lot of cool, down to earth people and whatnot. And I really think that like moving here boosted, I guess, my musicality and like really brought the musician out of me more than when I was like, still living with my parents and whatnot. Um, but I started making music when I was about a freshman in high school. So what's that, like 13, 14 years old? Um, Basically, I've always loved music. The first music I ever listened to was Daft Punk, and that's something that my cousin introduced to me, and I was like, "Whoa, this is insane! I didn't know like stuff could sound like this." And I just really started falling in love with it. But in my culture, I grew up Muslim, and for Orthodox Muslims, music is forbidden. It's apparently the devil's creation and stuff. So my parents just kind of took me out of whatever music program I was part of, and so I was like really bummed out because like music was the one thing that like really connected
Yeah,
me with the world. And so after that, around freshman year of high school, I had my own. I got my first laptop, and so I legally downloaded this program called Reason 5. Very outdated software, but it like I sat down and I just taught myself all these little knobs and like switches and buttons and everything, and like how to make music. And I've been doing that for 11 years now, and it's finally starting to pay off. It's been a really fun journey.
I'm glad that it's starting to pay off finally for you,
Yeah.
and that's an incredible story. It's really cool. It makes me feel great right off the bat interviewing you, and just so far the people that have been interesting that are interviewing, they all have a really unique story about where they come from and why they started making music, and it's just incredible to listen to. You got to tell me more about what it was like to have music be forbidden in your life. That is
Oh
a
my
very
god.
unique perspective.
Yeah, it was torture, let me tell you. Like I had to listen to all my music like in secrecy pretty much. Like when I was teaching myself how to make music and like produce and everything and getting to know the program and everything, I would stay after school and just like sit in the music room or the band room or something, and just stay there until like 9 or 10 o'clock at night and have either like a friend drive me back home, and I would his mom drive give the excuse like, yeah, track practice just like ran really late at night because my parents didn't really care about that sort of thing. Like, okay, yeah, he's just
Right.
at school or whatever, but they didn't really know what I was doing. Um, Little do they know that they're
See,
Muslim boy.
everybody deals with their own struggles when they like are growing up and they want to make music. Everybody has their own like unique challenges that they have to face to get to that point where they're like doing what they want and making the music they want. And just to hear that you literally had to like stay after school and hide this part of your life that you care about so much from your parents, that's absolutely amazing. What do your parents think about you now, now that you're openly a musician, right? You're an adult, you don't have to hide it.
Yeah, so my dad is one of those people who like and this if there's any other South Asian people or just Asian people in this live stream, you'll understand. They know about it, they just don't say anything about it. But my mom, she's become really accepting of my lifestyle. Like she and I have a really good relationship now. Now that they see that I'm actually like succeeding in life. Like I'm a scientist and a musician and everything, so I'm balancing both.
That's
Uh,
fascinating
yeah.
too. You're a scientist and a musician. You do as a scientist?
So I work for this company called PPD, and so this is an interesting story. I majored in environmental science and urban planning in college. After graduating, I was trying to look for environmental science work, but couldn't find any for like about a year and a half. And then I applied to this one job. I didn't even like remember the job description or anything. I was just like, you know what, screw it. At this point, I don't care. I'm just gonna apply to some place and hope I get it. And it was this job like researching like stability testing viruses and bacteria against like for pharmaceutical purposes. And then a week later, I got the job, and I was like, hold up, what? How did this work? And so that's just what I do now. And about 5 months of working there, I've learned more there than 5 years of college.
So
I
you're
haven't even used
studying
my degree yet.
viruses?
Yeah, like just different, like toxic materials, so organic and inorganic, and their like relationship with like medicine, essentially. Yeah,
That's really fascinating, especially how long have you had this job for?
for about 5 months now.
5 months? So it's a very new job. Okay. Because
Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, you're living in a world where that kind of subject, like that kind of that field of study has become more and more on the surface of people's minds, and it just seems like an important job, really. So I don't know. Props
yeah.
on you for having that as your other expertise. That's pretty cool.
For a
You know,
while, my schedule was just absolutely like packed because um, I was also the rowing coach for University of Richmond, which is like another university down here. So I would wake up at like 4:30, coach practice from like 5:30 to 7:30, then go to the lab from 8 to 5, and then come home, stare at the ceiling for about 30 minutes, and then just do music stuff until I fall asleep.
that sounds like quite a packed schedule. Yeah, it sounds like a day.
Yeah.
Nice way to end your day too.
Yeah.
So, when you made the album with, we'll get back to the song, I guess, right? You
hmm
made Bittersweet. Can you tell me why the album is called Bittersweet? Like why you chose that name?
So it was like I chose not the name because after a particularly hard breakup, like it was roughly a 4 year relationship, something like that. And basically, I like started making this song, and it was actually Smile. Um, and I started out with like this really melancholy piano, but it had happy lyrics to it and everything like that. And so I was like, yeah, this song is kind of bittersweet. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's a great name for the EP. That's why I just named it Bittersweet. And then each song was like the progression of not really the relationship, but me processing the feelings about like the whole breakup and why like it felt bittersweet. So first it's like you make me smile, I'm hypnotized by you, but then like stuff happened. And it's like I'll never let you in again. And then from her perspective, the fourth one, it's like the girl you left for dead, essentially.
That's really interesting. I'm glad that I asked about the album that the song is a part of and how it fits into the context because that's cool how you intentionally set that all up and told a story with the EP like that.
Yeah.
And
So
it's definitely
it's just a way to like process the emotions. I mean, trust me, like I feel a lot better from all that and everything, and like but
yeah,
it was just a way to get it out.
The song Smile is very relatable. I see it as and it's like a great Valentine's Day kind of vibe too, even though it's the day after, right? But it's just I just took it as like my message that I got out of it is just like finding comfort in someone and the world can be stressful, but you have this safe place in this person. That's kind of what I got out of that song, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly
Um,
what it is.
who's the vocalist that you were working with on that EP?
So that vocalist is actually a good friend of mine from high school. She goes by Mad Fun, and very talented artist. Like we both started our music career around the same time. She went down the vocalist route. I went down the producing route and everything. And after high school, we lost contact because she moved to Boston or Philly or something. And and then just kind of recently, like a year and a half ago or something, we kind of found each other's stuff again. And we're like, hey, you got a lot better. Hey, you got a lot better. You want to collab? And then we did, and it was seamless. It was like we just picked up right where we left off, and we worked really well together.
Did you record that in both places? Did you send files to each other, or did you
Yeah,
do
we
it in
had
one
to send
place?
files to each other, but it was like really quick because like I just sent her like just the bare bones of the song itself, like when I was still, it was like a project that I started and I hadn't touched for about a year or so. And then I was like, you know, this seems like it could have some vocals on it. And then she just like in like 2 days she wrote, like she sang it and like sent it over to me, and then I was like, oh, bet I can definitely work with this. And then I just added everything else after that. I'm like, you know what, this song needs a drop, and then I put that in.
So how did that work with? Because you were talking about how it kind of related to this breakup that you're going through, and went through sort of like you dealing with that. How did that work with her writing the lyrics and singing?
So I
How did that
told her
end up
like
coming out that
the
way?
point of this song was that it's like sort of like a bittersweet song where you have like the first part is kind of like almost like a sad melody where like the instruments just kind of present a sort of sadness to the atmosphere, but I want the lyrics to be like happy and everything. And she was able to just write something up like that, and then we went over it and was like, yeah, yeah, this is good. This
So did
needs
you
work.
do that
This
with
is good.
every song, or did you just kind of let her do her thing with the other songs, or did
So
you
she
kind of?
and I worked with Smile and Left for Dead. So literally the first and the last one of the EP, and then the other two ones were just me, and then like whatever vocals I had on file, and then yeah.
But you did like kind of say like this is what I want the song to sound like. This is what, or excuse me, this is what I want this song to be about. Sort of with every song, you kind of had like an idea in mind when you sent her the file, or
Uh, yeah, like when I sent her the file, like we laid out like the whole like the all the basics of what the song is supposed to be and whatnot.
yeah.
And that was like that's actually the only time I've ever planned out a song. Every time I write a song, I never have a plan sitting down. I just start with something and then it just goes on from there.
Right. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Well, it looks like so Smile was a song where you like had it conceptualized before you even put pen to paper, sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
It came out really well, so maybe that's an approach that, you need to do more often.
Maybe it was a lot of it was a lot of stress and it didn't like I don't want to say it didn't feel natural to me. It did while I was making it. It's just doing that is kind of a once in a blue moon type of thing for me.
Yeah, I can
Like,
understand that. It's weird how your creative process, like, people kind of think that it's always going to be one way and that you're always going to have one approach to making your song.
mhm.
But, it part of trying different approaches and doing it in a different way brings out different strengths and makes the songs come out in a different way. So there's no reason to always plan it ahead or always just go with the flow and not plan it ahead. It's really always what, for me anyway, and it's just whatever works in the moment for the song.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So what are some of your future aspirations with music and some of your goals that you have set for yourself, like as an artist?
Well, short-term goals. I'm working with a team in Richmond for to like book shows to play here and like at different venues and stuff like that. And they have some pretty good connections. Thankfully, I'm friends with I've made friends with a bunch of them, so they're keeping me in their roster and everything like that. Long term, I want to be able to like play at festivals or big concerts and stuff like that, as any artist would. And it's from the looks of things, it looks like things are on the right track for that. And I'm also looking into sync licensing and to just like get some sort of passive income from my songs if possible. And so I'm
Sounds like with
coordinating
all
with.
those different, yeah, it sounds like with all those different approaches that you'll find success. You're pushing in different ways, and that's good to see.
Yeah,
So, have you been playing out in Richmond, Virginia at all, or is it something that you're trying to work towards?
yeah, I've played a couple shows here, and I actually played one in Boston as well, and that was really fun.
Cool.
Um, so because of the holidays, there's not really much going on for like musicians during the holidays because everyone's either with their family or they already have plans. So around the springtime is when things are really gonna be hyping up again, and that's where we're planning a bunch of shows.
Cool. Do you
Yeah.
perform all by yourself, or do you have a band, or
I as far as like the stuff that I make, yeah, I perform by myself, but I'm also a drummer, and I used to be part of a punk rock band, which was really fun.
oh, no way. That's
Yeah.
awesome, dude. Did you ever like go on any tours with that band, or where did you guys play?
Oh man, we really blew up in our town, and we had shows booked for other towns and other venues like out of state as well. The most heartbreaking thing, and I'm still salty about it to this day, we were supposed to start like a little East Coast tour, and we had everything lined up. We were ready to go, and then COVID hit.
Oh,
Oh my God. It just
oh,
derailed everything. We were holding on to hope the entire time. Like, yeah, yeah, this isn't going to be that bad. This isn't going to be that bad. Then we heard about places like New York and Italy and China and India and stuff. And we were like, yeah, this is not happening, isn't it? Is it? So then, surprise, surprise, it didn't end up happening. And then the lead singer moved to LA.
oof.
Yeah.
So it goes. That's a shitty story. I'm sorry things worked out like that for you.
It's okay, but lockdown and everything really helped me hone in on my like production skills. It gave me time to catch up with myself and really sit down and learn, like, kind of relearn the nuances of production and whatnot, and kind of figure out what I'm doing wrong and what I should be doing right in a sense. And that really helped me. And also learning how to mix and master was so helpful. Holy crap!
Yeah, I still struggle with that. Like, I have this oh, I've got like just this like thing where I can just get to the end of the song and have it all be done, and then it's like I can't just like be like this is good enough and release it. And
Hmm.
that's something that I need to dive into and work on. So I'm not sitting on music anymore and I'm releasing my ideas. It's a struggle, but getting that workflow down is so crucial and so important. And I
Yeah.
feel like part of the reason why I didn't get that down is because at the beginning of the pandemic, in fact, for like the first year, I was working with a producer and they were just taking care of that end of things.
Hmm.
Like I was playing and singing and I was a part of the creative process and everything, but they just like would master the music and that was a time where I could have been learning more about it. But it's all good. I'll get there, you know. You're definitely
Yeah.
doing a great job yourself, so props.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a very finicky science. Like audio engineering. It's unless you have an actual audio degree, it's gonna be difficult to learn.
Yeah, and
But
it's not like a one size fits all thing where like you can just like learn one like formula and apply it to your music and it'll work. It's like no, it's all the information you receive is when you use it, it's always done in context with the song, and that's what makes it so complicated and hard to do. You know?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It's there's like no right way to do anything. Like there's no absolute right way to do anything because every song is different. Every artist is different. There's going to be different visions and everything like that, and you have to know how to mold your sound to those visions, which is the hardest thing. The second, in my opinion, the second hardest thing, actually, no, in my opinion, the absolute hardest thing is establishing your sound. you have to do that before, like you can progress further, because if you don't know what you're doing with your sound, it's going to be much harder to like mix your stuff how you want it to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I've gotten at that point where I know what my sound is. And I've
Yeah.
gotten to the point too where I've had this unfortunate problem, not to talk about myself, but like
No, it's okay.
I've had this problem in my past where I would like work with other people and look towards other people to like help me fulfill my vision. And I've realized that having people like talk in my ear or whatever has been detrimental to me doing what I actually want to. And it wasn't until like very recently that I actually feel like I've been making the music that I want, like, and like finding my sound and not having anything in the way or telling me to do it differently, which is a great feeling to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's
it's relevant to anybody who makes music, like you had to go through that process and figure out what your sound is. And then the next step to that is what you want to do with that sound, and of course making it come out of the speakers right is one of the first steps to the carrying that sound to where it needs to go.
yeah. Oh yeah. It was just figuring everything out was so convoluted for me, and like so hard to do, because like once you learn one thing, five other things appear. And then I'm like,
It is
what the
like
heck?
that.
Like
It is like that too.
yeah, I don't even know what I don't know. And then when I do finally figure out one thing, it's like, whoa, look at all these other things that
Yeah,
you have to
I
pay
can't.
attention to.
It's kind of absolutely wild how complicated mixing and mastering music is,
Yeah.
like, and can be. Like, there's a reason why people go to school for years, and
Hmm.
then they'll come out and still be like, I can still learn stuff, like 'cause it's
Yeah.
just it's a wild world. And that's one of the things I've been thinking about lately is like, should I be at like of course I want my songs to come out good and sound like professional, but like am I worrying too much about it sounding perfect and like not putting out music? Like I really have to figure that out because I've been sitting on a lot of material.
I guess it ultimately depends on how much you care about like production. I didn't That came out a lot nicer in my head. I meant like like how much you care about your image, because if they're, like people have really short attention spans these days, and if they listen to a song and it's just like, like just a regular person can just point out like, oh, this doesn't sound like all the other songs, people will generally try to skip that. um but if you put time and effort into mixing and mastering your songs, and then people won't be able to tell the difference between if it's just some dude in his bedroom making music or some guy in a professional studio in LA, like who like just published this song. And then more like, if your mixes sound better, more people will become interested, then organizations will start getting interested and stuff like that. So it's just like, it's one of those things where a little bit of effort goes a long way, and the more
Yeah,
effort you
that's
put
true.
in, the more you get.
It's interesting what the definition of like a well produced song can be though, like because it's really important that you obviously produce your song well and have it sound good. But one thing that's been like wild to me lately is like listening to like hyper pop music. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the blow, it like blows out your speakers and it's like purposely like too loud. Like it's so crazy. Like so that's like one of the things that's interesting about music production to me is like for me like that style of music is centered around breaking the rules and like not like if you're skipping through scrolling through right and like you're talking about all the songs sounding kind of like linear and it's like so it doesn't jump out at you. Well, I feel like hyperpop does do the thing you're talking about where it jumps out at you, but it does it in a way where it's not like, oh, what the fuck, like this doesn't. I guess some people might have that reaction, but it's purposely like, holy shit, like, you know what I mean? It does
Yeah.
it on purpose. And there's other music that does that too, like punk rocks would be a good example. It's not always recorded well. It's just as long as it's loud, right?
Yeah.
Like so,
And
I
that
don't know. It's
also
interesting.
depends on the genre and
Yeah,
everything.
it does. It's a contextual thing. But if you're a producer and you're putting out like songs on your own, it is fact, like you said, that a little bit goes a long way with just having that knowledge, making it so that everything is clear and that the listener can hear, and it's not like off-putting, like, oh, what the fuck, this sounds weird. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
don't want that reaction. You want the reaction of just like, oh, this sounds nice.
Yeah, especially for like people like you and I, we're like small producers, you know? Um, and so we don't have the luxury of breaking the rules to the point where like we can do what we want and we have just like complete creative freedom. Yeah, we do have creative freedom, but to an extent, because if we're just like, you know, small time producers, nobody's gonna be like, yeah, this guy's breaking the rules, but who is he? Like, oh, like if this guy, like people are gonna say like, you know, who is he or who are they and stuff like that. It's like people like I'm trying to think of an example. Also, I'm sorry, I'm still coming out of science mode right now, so my brain is a little scrambled. I just got
Oh
back.
no, no worries. You're doing a great job. Absolutely great job. I hope I'm doing a good job as a host.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, like take an artist like Flume for example. Do you know who Flume is?
No, I don't actually.
Well, if you listen to like his earlier stuff, like I don't know if you've heard the song like "Me and You"
Yes,
by
I will be.
Disclosure. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. There's someone that said, "Are you taking questions from the chat?" And I'm letting them know that I will take their question, but first I want to let you finish what you're saying, and then we'll take their question.
Okay, yeah. So people like Flume, he had a unique sound starting out, and it was pretty tame at first. And it was like, okay, cool, this is weird and funky, and that's awesome. And as he got bigger and bigger, he just got weird, and people were just like, yeah, that's Flume. That's what he does. And the progression of his weirdness just like came out way more the more famous he got. And now like it's hard to explain, but it's like the bigger you get, the less formulaic you're allowed to be, and the more widely accepted it'll be.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it. Like, get your foot in the door by being slightly experimental and
Exactly.
having your own thing. Okay, one of the questions from the chat is, what do you think about musicians who stay anonymous, and what are the pros and cons? And I'll let you answer first.
Honestly, like musicians who stay anonymous, it's good because then they don't have like that outward pressure of needing to succeed and like being in the limelight, so to speak, you know? Because that can be a really intimidating and really taxing thing to an individual. And also, like, if I don't know if they mean like in the sense of a ghost producer, but being a ghost producer is awesome. You get to just sit there, no one bothers you, you make music, and you don't have to deal with the public, and you just get money off of it. That's pretty cool. I mean, it depends on what type of person you are, what type of musician you are.
Yeah, I would say my answer to that question would be, um, if you want to be somebody who's representing yourself as a person, and you view that your music is you, right? Like, and they're not separate, then that will be confusing and being. But if you want your music to be completely separate from who you are and your identity, and it's this expression of you, but it's separate from who you are as a person, then that being anonymous might serve you. And I think it's a personal choice. But I think that in the age of like where they want musicians to be influencers and stuff, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's bullshit, and I can understand why there's people who like go against that idea of being an influencer or whatever. But my only, I guess, thought on that would be like, if you are going to take that approach, you have to be anonymous in a way that's really interesting to people, and have like a shtick about it, and have like a vision and a visual package that you put your music in that sucks people into it and makes it interesting. So like, if you're going to
Mm-hmm.
be anonymous, like, that gives you a whole world of opportunities to like paint this vision of what your music is visually and stuff like that. So I guess my whole thing with that is like, it's an opportunity to package your music and make it something completely different than what you are as a person and who you are in your life. And I think that can be really cool and powerful. But also, it's just like it just depends on who you are and what you're trying to do with your music. That's my answer to that question. They
Yeah,
said, my thoughts exactly. I'm very much an introvert. Thanks for answering. And then they did this. So
yeah,
cool. That was an interesting question. I think you had a really interesting answer to that.
yeah. I liked your answer too. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it actually them asking that question made me think about my own music because I have thought about doing that before, and
Hmm.
or even just having a project where it's like anonymous or something like that. So it is
Yeah.
an interesting thought. And if you're an introvert, like this person's their name is Comfort Noise.
Oh yeah,
If,
comfort
if
noise. Yeah.
yeah, if you're an introvert like Comfort Noise, yeah, then being anonymous is probably the way to go. You don't have to be nervous about putting yourself out there. And you don't
Hmm.
if you're nervous about putting yourself out there, being anonymous is your way of not having to like be nervous anymore and put out as much shit as you want without having to
Yeah.
worry about people seeing you. So just yeah, stick with the anonymity if that's what works for you. Is my thoughts for sure.
It's funny because I actually have immense stage fright. Um, so when I was playing like my first show, I was petrified. And after like probably the first half an hour, I was like, okay, I can get into this. And then, like I started coming out of my shell. But every time, even like when I was the drummer for a punk rock band, it was I took solace that in the fact that I could hide behind my drum set. But like my other band members would turn around and they would see my like resting bitch face, just trying to like concentrate and count to four as best as I can and like keep time. They were like, Saeed, smile, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm playing. But I just get so nervous on stage, so I can definitely see how people would want to be, like introverted people would want to stay anonymous in that sense.
It's very much so a thing too that I think there's always been a large number of the musician community who are introverted people, and I think that's always been a struggle within the community of like the music community. It's just like, yeah, it's normally expected of you to like go out there and put yourself out there, and there's people like a lot like people. I know people who literally will have to like throw up before they go on stage and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
my
like
god.
well, it's a thing sometimes, right? For some people,
Yeah.
they get really nervous.
Everybody has their
Uh, but no, the internet has made it so if you can share your art and your music with people, and I mean, I always, for me personally, I think the real world is like where it's at, and I love live shows, but the internet has made a place where you can really be put your art out there as just what it is, the art itself. You don't have to you can just have it be that and not have to represent yourself as a person. And that's pretty cool.
yeah.
It was harder to do back in the day, It's easier to do now.
This person in my end of the live stream, Kolina Paha. Is it Paha or Paja? But he said after we won the crappiest band of Finland contest in 2016, I lost stage fright altogether. I think that's hilarious.
They lost the crappiest band
No,
contest.
after we won the crappiest band of Finland contest in 2016, I lost the stage fright altogether. Oh, and Sammy is his name.
Sammy, okay, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is really funny. Well, I think we've had a pretty good chat. Is there anything you have coming up that you want to promote or talk about at all, or
Yeah, so recently I I and another like and four other artists won this remix contest by this other TikToker named Kayla Glaze. Very talented person, and super down to earth, super nice. Everything that an artist should be. Um, so I won that contest, and the songs will be released fairly soon, probably sometime early next month. And then I also have a couple singles that I'm going to be releasing soon. One of which, the first one is going to be a single called Funky Milk, and it's this just like really kind of like hard electro like house song with like an Indian part, like an Indian section in the in the middle of it and everything like that. It's just chaotic, but also concise. I can't describe it all that well, but you just have to listen to it. And
Sounds
I have a
really cool.
couple of singles coming out. Yeah, I'm also working on what is called a conceptual album, where it's just songs that I like making. I'm not going to follow any rules. It's just whatever I like making and compiling them into an album, and it's going well so far. I have 3 songs done so far, and I'm working on like 7 others. And then I'm also collaborating with an artist from LA, making a slap house album. So I just started making
Slap
house
house?
music
What's
about
that? What's
yeah.
slap?
So hmm, you know what house music is, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So slap house is basically just like the really bouncy house with like the really like pumpy pluck basses and everything like that. And like those, like those pop vocals in the background. Yeah,
Okay,
slap house. Yeah.
that's
And
sweet.
so we're working on an album there. We got 2 songs done already. It's just hard because he's in LA, I'm in Virginia, 2 opposite ends of the country. um
Yeah,
and
but that's
but
also like really cool because of that too, right? Like that's a really cool. Um,
yeah.
it's awesome that you're able to do that.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I just like it started with my I guess my production of house music started with him. He was like, "Hey, you should try slap house. Like, I think you'd be really good at that." And I was like, "Okay." And then we started working on some songs together, and then I started making my own stuff, and then won the remix contest with a slap house track, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is really fun!" I'm having a great time. And then I've just been like collaborating with a bunch of different TikTok artists and stuff like, and yeah, it's been going really well. I've been meeting a lot of new people, making all sorts of connections. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I kind of just realized like how streamlined it is where I can find people who are musicians, um, just like check out their music, who they are and what they're doing, and then like ask them if they want to talk, and then actually talk to them like on live, all through just this one app. And not only
Yeah,
that, when people are like when we're on the live stream, people can discover both of us just through us like sitting here and talking about music. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and also like the cross pollination of like I have my followers, you have your followers. I mean, this app is just so incredible for like actually tangibly like being helpful to artists and not just being
hmm,
like a pain in our sides and a detriment, kind of like a lot of these other apps feel like to me.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I was trashing on this app when it first came out because I guess I was just mad that Vine got taken down. I was just really salty about that. Um, but then, like I started realizing, like, hey, this is actually getting really popular, and
Well,
it
it
could be
sort
a
of
cool.
evolved into what it is now. It wasn't always like they didn't, it kept on changing slightly and getting new features until it became what it is now. You know what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's a lot different. So you can like
Yeah.
literally get into anything in this app, like any genre, any category. Uh, you name it, they have it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it does a good job of connecting people without a lot of the bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
um, not that there isn't bullshit. I know you posted that video about like people like hating on you for no fucking reason. And I get that too, but I feel like it's more of just the only bad thing that I see personally in my experience as compared to like other social medias, like yeah, occasionally someone will be trolling me, but I don't encounter I don't know, I encounter this very like warm, inviting community that's on this app that I haven't really felt other places. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I've like Kayla Glaze just joined my end of the stream, and speak of the devil, like she was one of the first like genuine people that I met on this app who had a really good direction and like just an approach to what music is to her and everything like that. And then we started talking, and we were talking about how we should we should try like lifting up other artists and rather than try to like bash them for whatever reason. And it's hard enough to make it in the music industry these days. Like there's no point in being mean to each other or dragging them down.
I personally am just like, for me, the reason why I started doing this gated vibes thing again, I started doing it towards the beginning of the pandemic on YouTube and Twitch, but just like once things opened up again, I kind of forgot about it, right? And now that I'm doing it again,
Yeah.
but the reason why I'm doing it again, and I feel the last interview I did with Mega Mango, I feel so bad because I didn't know I did it the wrong way, and they're like tiny in the corner of the screen, and like I
Yeah.
didn't feel good about this one. But talking to you and them too, like don't get me wrong, I just kind of screwed up technically, but you have such an interesting story, right? Like you came from a whole nother fucking country. You come from a religion where your parents forbid you from doing music, and you like spent your time like making beats like at school, like pirated like this a program on your computer and like had to like hide it from your parents. Like that's crazy. That's a wild story, and I think that everybody has um a story to tell, and it's unfortunate that the only time that people are ever given like a opportunity or like a platform to tell their story is when they've already like blown up. Because to me, I look forward to talking to as many people as possible before they blow up, and getting that perspective of like what fuels you, what keeps you going, like what I mean, like why are
Mhm.
you doing this. And then also, like I said, just everybody's background and their story is unique, and everybody has their own perspective and way of looking at like creating music and being an artist and like putting themselves in the world and like all that shit. Like I don't know, it's just like I'm really inspired after talking with you. I really appreciate you coming on the show because it like opened my eyes to like, yeah, this is a cool thing I'm doing. I should keep doing this. This
Yeah,
is
you should. This is a great idea.
it's a
Oh,
lot of fun.
Kayla has a comment. I feel like so many people today are about blowing up or making it big or becoming famous. And yeah, I mean, with so many musicians out there these days, it's hard to find like it's hard to find talent. Like I wouldn't want to say talented musicians, but it's hard to get yourself out there. We and she also says we have to get back to the heart and the big picture of why we're really doing music. And yes, I agree. We a lot of people, the further they get, they kind of start losing their way or losing the reason why they started making music in the first place. The outlook I try to have is I'm not trying to make music to make money. I'm making music because that's something I enjoy, and music is what helps me connect with the world. As cheesy as it sounds, but it's true. So like basically for me, it's I'm just riding this train until I can't, and if nothing comes out of it, oh well. At least I have songs that I've made that I can listen to whenever I want, or just show my friends or something. I don't care.
Yeah, I think that you add to the world with your art, and I'm glad that you make it.
Thanks. I've same to you. Like, and all the other musicians in here. Like the people that I've met like on this app, they're just I've had some I've met some bad eggs, but the ones who I interact with regularly, I'm blown away by them and their attitude and like just the different styles that everyone brings to the table and different talents and everything. It's just like Sammy over here made his first recording in 1978, so he's got some experience under his belt. So he probably knows all about what we're talking about.
That sounds like somebody that I'd like to talk to on here sometime.
Oh yeah, no, he's really talented. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Also,
some
Kayla.
super.
Sorry, what?
Don't go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, Kayla also says about being authentic and making the music that makes me feel alive and telling my stories. Yep, I have a feeling that this is the point of this series that you're starting, and just like talking
Yeah,
about, yeah,
telling your story and getting it out there to the world, and also like I think like by having people on the show personally, like because I've had this happen to me before recently, where I've had somebody ask me like, okay, like I was working with this rapper, right? And he asked me, "What are you trying to accomplish with your music? What is your creative vision?" I'm like, "Whoa." Like, I, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and I'm like, why haven't I thought about this deeply anytime recently, right? It like really took me aback. And I think that's a huge question to ask an artist that's like plowing along and like trying to get themselves out there is like, what are you trying to do with this, you know? Because if you do step back and you look at that, it reminds you of like why it's important that you keep doing what you're doing and what it is you're trying to do. Because I feel like as artists, we're always striving for something more. And the first step to getting to that more is identifying what that more is, right? So I don't know. I think it's a really interesting question to ask, right? Like another thing he asked me, and I guess I should ask you this
that's
question
pretty deep
because
for a studio session, though. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, he was very. I had a blast talking with this guy. He was very inspiring the whole time we were working together, saying very inspiring stuff. I love people like that.
Yeah.
But one of the things he asked me is like, okay, and I have to ask you this now.
Oh wait. Before you do,
Okay,
Kayla is asking, what series are you starting that you're talking about? Do you want to explain your little interview series?
absolutely. So basically, I started this TikTok as just like to post my own music, but then I realized like how many artists are out here on this app and just like how it's just like kind of nuts, right? Like you were one of the first people where like saw your profile and I was like, oh, this person's so good. Like their music, they probably have like thousands of followers, and then I went and like you didn't, and I was like, oh shit, like wow, there's just like a lot of people on this app doing shit. It made me feel humbled and like good about like I don't know, but like
Yeah, no,
my
I
whole
know what you
thing
mean.
yeah, like my whole reason why I'm doing this, why I'm starting the series, is just to talk to other musicians and artists. Like I'm starting like mostly music, but I know that like I like to use the word artist even for myself because I feel like it's more complicated than just the music you're making. So a lot
Yeah,
of times I'll use the term artist, but yeah, I just want to give a platform to artists to talk about their music, what they're trying to do, make them think a little bit about their just give them a because like yeah like I think like when a musician is interviewed right like bigger musicians sometimes they get asked questions that probably get gears turning in their head and help them kind of figure out like where they're going and what it is what they want to do and how they relate to their fans and all the stuff like I think interviews can help people with that and
oh
I want to interview some of these people on this app that haven't blown up that aren't getting interviewed yet like they don't even like how often do artists like I guess it's like not that common. And I just feel like I'm filling this void that exists. Like somebody needs to do this. Somebody needs to talk to the up and coming artists about what they're trying to do and get that conversation because I know a lot of people on here are going to end up where they want to be. And it will be very interesting to look back at that younger version of them that wasn't far along on their path as they wanted to be, and to
oh
be able
for
to have that perspective and to be able to get that perspective from all these different people. I know I'm offering something valuable to the world by
yeah,
doing it.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
why I'm doing it, and that's what the series is. Today is like Tune Tuesday, which is like you talk about a song, but obviously we were able to make this center around the song. We are able to talk about way more than just one song. And then like Music Monday, it's like it's just a hashtag. You know what I mean? It just rolls off the tongue.
yeah,
Um, I might do it on different days. I know that um one of the things that's important with TikTok is literally doing the stuff when lots of people are on the app. So I have to research when people are on the app the most.
yeah,
Probably do this. Probably actually not just do the shows on the days that sound good when you say them in a sentence, like Tune Tuesday. I
You got to
probably
go
should do
with
it.
the algorithm.
Yeah, go with the algorithm. That's what I should do. But for now, I'm just getting started out, and I don't want to like you. The only way to get good at it is to just do it, right? And I
Yeah.
feel so great today because the first one I tried to do, the guy didn't have 1,000 followers, and I didn't know he couldn't come on the stream with me.
Yeah.
And then the second one with Mega Mango, they were great, and they're an amazing band, and it was so fun talking
Yeah,
with
they're
them.
really cool.
But they were like a tiny little thing on the corner of the screen, and I couldn't fix it, and it
Yeah.
irritated me the whole interview. And I know it would have went way better if I wasn't irritated by that the whole time.
Yeah.
And then finally, this third one though, I feel like hit the right. I didn't start it at the like I had this whole scheduling problem, but we did the interview. I learned like one thing that I'm going to do every time when I ask somebody on the show and I make the event is I'm
Mhm.
going to schedule it how I do because you have to schedule it like by your time, right?
Yeah.
What I need to do is after I schedule it, make the event, ask them, look, can you look at the event page and does it look right to you? Because if I would have done that a week ago, you'd have been like, oh no, it's actually a little bit off. You know
No,
what I
it's all
mean?
good. I caught it at the best time because I was right in the middle of like an experiment, and I had just like put in some like samples into the incubation chambers, and then I like took off my gloves, sterilized, and everything like that. And I checked my phone. I'm like, oh, you got a notification, like someone mentioned you in one of their TikToks. And then I looked up and I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Put my phone down. I'm like, wait, that the math doesn't add up.
Yeah, I'm getting better with the time zone thing. For some reason I thought the Eastern Standard Time was 2 hours ahead, and now I'm like, no, it's not 2 hours. Nope,
Yeah.
I messed it up.
So
I
what
know
was
that.
that question you wanted to ask me before we talked about what the podcast was?
Oh, okay, yeah, this is an interesting question because yeah, I got asked this question and it blew my mind. Um, so
Also, thank you for all the likes, guys. This is awesome. We're at 1K.
yeah, thanks for the likes. Yeah, for sure. If you, it's if sorry, okay, let me start from the beginning. Imagine yourself, you're in the place where you're in the best position you could possibly be. You have all the money that you could need to do what you want to do. You have the equipment that you need. You're working with the type of people that you're working with. You know, you're playing the type of festivals and shows that you want to play. Like, what would be different about your music, and like what does that look like for you, and like what does like I guess like what your vision of like I'm successful, I got where I want to be, I can't think of anywhere else to go from here, like what does that look like for you?
So there's always room to progress when making music. As far as like personal production goes, I would want to stay true to my sound and just keep challenging myself to insert myself in either different genres or different styles, or just like continue to make songs that don't sound recycled versions of myself. But in terms of like being being a successful musician, if I'm like right where I want to be and I'm successful, I'm making a ton of money and stuff like that, and I'm playing all the shows. One vision that I had, and I did daydream about this, I would want to like um, start my own label and then try to bring up like amateur producers and stuff like that, like try to like find hidden talent out there, that like people who are trying to break through and they obviously have the talent but don't have like the money or the marketing to do so, and
I've
try to
thought
help
about
them.
that before.
Yeah, and one of my favorite artists of all time, San Holo, he does that, and like he's really keen on finding small producers or people who are just barely breaking through, or just on the cusp of it, and they're like bringing he's like bringing them up and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's a really cool thing. I would want to do that if I ever made it big. So there's always room to progress, whether it be personally
Such
or
a
in the community or
respectful
through music.
response to that question. I absolutely love your response. That's great. Just don't want to you
Yeah,
just wouldn't want to be stale, and you'd want to keep being fresh, and you'd want to help other people. That's a really cool response. It's super down to earth. I like that.
I just don't like being stagnant, and if there's any way that I can help other people, then I will. Like there's a but like I actually teach people about like production. Like I have these like Discord classes that I have, like it's just like a one-on-one session with other artists, and I just teach them like whatever I know, and then try to help them from there, because I know how expensive music can be and how hard it can be to like get lessons and stuff like that. So I'm like, and I went through that. I know what it's like, and it sucks. So I don't want other people to go through that. Like Kayla Glaze, for example, we just had a little session about a couple days ago, Saturday actually, and I just taught her like, personally what I do to mix music, and like some production skills and like synthesizing sounds and stuff like that. And I've done that for a bunch of other people too, and it's just like a good way of giving back to the community.
Have
I
you
got
ever tried making videos like that on your TikTok?
Yeah, I have. It's just I'm not I'm not good at making videos, and I feel like I'm really awkward on camera. But yeah, I have a bunch of videos on TikTok, like either drumming tutorials or like production tutorials and stuff like that. Yeah,
I think I might have seen a few of them.
yeah, they're scattered throughout there.
One thing I will say actually that I noticed when I looked through your TikTok is I wanted to find more content of you, like actually your songs. You don't
Yeah.
have enough content of like your actual. I'm for me as somebody who likes your music and your art. I'm not trying to be like a dick. Like I'm like I was on there. I was like, oh man, like there's a lot of talking and a lot of cool videos, but I think you need to have some videos where it's just like your song, like your music, like a little example of your music. Like I know you have some of that, but I think that you should post more of your songs. Your songs are good. And I even like I need to do that. Like
Yeah,
I have my
it's hard
single.
promoting myself. Like I just feel like, oh, no one wants to see that, or like just me like bragging
Yeah, but
my
then
stuff.
as somebody who does like your music and I was able to find your stuff on Spotify, so it's cool, like whatever, like that's probably what you want people to do anyway, right? Is have to go to Spotify and listen to your music. But like just like for me, like as a fan of what you do, like if you had more music, more like for instance, okay, I guess like but what it was is I was trying to find a video where I could just like duet it and just be like this is what this person does, like, and I couldn't find one, I guess. And like if you had a videos of you just like doing a song or like in the studio with a song, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm being a dick right now, but
No, 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 no. You're giving me constructive feedback right here. I think I have like two videos where it's
yeah.
like my music. I
And
should do
that's
more,
what's
because
weird
two
about
is not
TikTok
enough.
to me. That's what's a weird. And I guess this isn't just like this is a good like segue into a conversation because it's not necessarily that you're doing a bad job or you're doing something wrong. You're doing TikTok right, right? Like I said, it brings you to the algorithm or it makes people have to go to your Spotify and actually check out your music. But like it's just weird to me how this in this day and age we're like made into being sort of like influencers and like really our personality, like you have to like put yourself out there so much and like actually be this person who's like talking to a camera, like what we're
Right.
doing now, we're having an interview, like whereas like before when you're an artist, like you just put out your art, you just put out your music, like maybe you got interviewed and stuff like that after, I don't know, but it was just it's such a weird different world. And
Yeah.
like I said, like TikTok isn't necessarily an app where you just literally post your songs anyway. But yeah, I know that you have great music, and I guess that's one thing that even I'm figuring out like as I go along here, like how do I use this to show people my music? I'm not a videographer. Like I guess it's just like you just do it one step at a time. Like for instance,
Yeah.
this interview that this is the third one. It's the first one that actually worked. It was good.
Woo!
So like the only way to like do it is to just do it and just yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing to hear from people. Like I'm not trying to like I said, I'm not trying to be rude. Like literally I'm
Not at
telling you
all.
like your music is good and yeah, like you, you're on this
Trust me,
app
it
that
takes a lot to offend me, and you're not even close.
okay,
You're
cuz
like
like
you're yeah,
I
you're
see this with a lot of different people, but it's I don't know, is it a marketing tactic? Because like it's like yeah, if your music is only teasers and like you kind of showing the production and stuff like that, and you don't literally have like a 3 minute music video to your single or something like that, then you have to go to the place where that thing is. So it's just an interesting thing to think about and how that all works between like the balance between being an influencer, posting a lot, like interacting with people, but also making sure like I'm a musician, right? Not
Yeah,
an influencer, making it clear to people, keeping that on the forefront of people's minds, you know?
yeah. It's been hard for me lately to post because I've just been so busy with like real life that like I just haven't had time to like make videos and
And you're
stuff. And
supposed to post 3 times a day if you're doing this
that's so
seriously.
exhausting, man. Like,
I know. You're supposed to post 3 times a day.
uh,
Comfort Noise says, I was told once there's an audience for everything, and I found it to be true.
yeah, yeah. There is an audience for literally everything out there.
Yeah, and maybe one of the things we get caught up with too on Facebook is like that, or excuse me, not Facebook, TikTok. On this app, I'm talking like it's 10 years ago, right? Um,
Back in my day.
yeah, one of the interesting things though about TikTok is like, yeah, you might want to do like trends and certain things that will get you followers faster, but what you're actually trying to do on TikTok, like what it's designed to do is help you find your authentic audience of like niche people that care specifically about what you care about.
Yeah,
And so to me, like it's all about finding that balance between finding like following the trends, doing stuff that's like clickbaity and will get people to find you, but also like being true to yourself and not letting that bury your authenticity as an artist, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's a tricky
Also, real
world.
quick, I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Brandon Montego, who's on this stream right now. He's a great guy. He would be a great person to interview for your show. He's a really talented fella.
Come to come in my DMs and hit me up, or I'll hit him up, and that would be yeah. I look forward to doing a lot more of this and talking to more people. Like I said, there's just so much talent out there, so many interesting people. And I know that you have some cool friends, so if you want to send them my way, I'm not gonna complain, bud.
Yeah, I mean this like the genuine like people of this community need to come together and like just kind of lift each other up.
Yeah, I think that it's already happening, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think that this is kind of a relatively new thing for a lot of us. When did you first start posting on TikTok seriously?
I would say literally at the very start of this year because I've had TikTok for a while and I just like my first couple of videos were just like my very first video was me doing something absolutely stupid. Like I was just in my car and I was like, "Hey, you guys ever laugh without smiling?" And then like I just started laughing and it was like really like freaky and it was just something to like show my friends and everything. But then I really got into the like the music side of TikTok. And I'm like, I should do that. I know what to do. And then there was this one day where I posted this one video where I used like some sort of popular sound, and I just kind of like looked at the camera, and then I like mouthed the sound with like this caption on top, and then less than a week I got like 100 like what 1,000 followers, and I was like, what the heck, this is insane. And then I just started posting more and more music stuff, and then I was like, okay, I'm starting to figure this out, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just started posting January, the beginning of this year, so it's been
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
So
Sammy joined mid-September, so yeah, we're all we're all newly posting here and whatnot. But it's been cool because I never would have thought that I would be engaged in such a community like this. Like I'm usually a lurker when it comes to social media apps. I don't post all that much because I kind of hate promoting myself. I just feel embarrassed or
I
shy
understand.
and stuff like that. But then, like I'm just like, you know what? I'm in real life. I'm a very extroverted person. I'm the guy who will like get drunk and make friends with everybody. Like, why can't I do that on this app? Without getting drunk, of
You're
course.
very personable, man.
I I think that's like one of the biggest things that I took from my culture, I guess, because back home, everybody treats each other like they're their neighbors. And so when I like here, I'm just like I'll just go up to a random person and start talking to them, and then like just get to know them and stuff. And that's kind of the mindset that I'm taking into TikTok right now. Is like, okay, let me just do that virtually. Like whoever wants to connect with me, I'll connect with them, and I'll try whatever out.
And it's working out.
Yeah, yeah. I like I said, getting to meet a bunch of cool people who make cool music. It's a good time.
Well, thanks for talking with me. It's been such an interesting conversation that a whole hour has flown by.
Oh wow, I
So
didn't even
that's a
realize.
good sign. Yeah, me neither until I looked. So that's good. I usually aim for 20 to 30 minutes. So,
Yeah,
and the truth is, when people are listening to podcasts, I've done the research, they actually want as much time as possible.
yeah,
So you don't have to feel bad about, you don't ever have to feel bad about doing a lot of time when you come on here and talk with me. I actually encourage it.
yeah. No, this has been really fun, really good. Yeah.
All
If do
right,
you have any
cool.
other questions for me, or is that it?
I think that's it, really. Just thank you for coming on, and I'm glad we were able to talk about your song, and I was able to learn about you as an artist and where you're from. And Richmond, Virginia sounds pretty cool. I'll have to come check it out someday.
Yeah,
And yeah, man, just cheers and keep doing what you're doing. And I'm trying to do this regularly, and I want to do like a bunch of other people before I have you again. But I'd love to have you again sometime.
yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to do this again.
All right, sounds good, man. Take care.
All right. You too. See you.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Comfort Noise says this has been great. Looking forward to the next one. So, yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.